Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour on ESPN is brought to you by True Value Hardware. More than just a name, it's their way of doing business. Welcome to Wayne Zahn's Tempe Bowl for the finals of the $40,000 Tempe Open. Hello, everybody. I'm Denny Schreiner, along with the lady who finished 15th this week here in the Tempe Open. Chris Zahn will be working together here this evening. And, Chris, you know this house better than anybody else. Some very big scores bowled this week.
Denny, there sure were. In the first game of the second round of qualifying, last week's champion, Renee Fleming, threw a 300. During the last round of the match play, Julie Bear shot 290.
So we did see some pretty high scores. No telling what might happen on the telecast this evening. Let's take a look at the 5 finalists here for the Tempe Open. Starting out of the number 5 spot, it will be Callie Sampson out of Parkersburg, West Virginia. Her first ever appearance on national television. In the number 4 position out of Dallas, Texas, it'll be Leila Wagner. She's finished 5th twice already this summer. Bowling out of the number 3 slot, representing Houston, Texas, looking for her first title, will be Cass Leal. And then, boy, a couple of players in the number 2 and number 1 slots that have been there many times this summer. Barbara Light out of Albany, New York, bowls out of the number 2 position. And once again, on top of the stack, the incomparable Betty Morris out of Stockton, California. Betty looking for title number 17 this evening. Chris, what do you think?
I think she probably hopes she doesn't do what she did last time from the top-seeded position.
Well, hopefully she'll bowl well here this evening, as will the rest of the finalists. Stay tuned. The opening match is coming up next in the $40,000 Tempe Open. Sampson and Leila Wagner, the finals of the $40,000 Tempe Open. First ever appearance on national television for Callie Sampson. She wasted little time, Chris, and hit in the pocket.
Well, Denny, I think she's a little nervous, but she sure didn't show it on that shot, did she?
Leila Wagner has finished 5th twice already this summer in the Lake Charles Classic and also in the Metroplex Open. So Leila looking to finish anywhere but 5th here this evening.
And last time she started against someone who's never had experience before either.
Good shot by Leila Wagner, leaves the 4-pin. She appears to be a little deeper, Chris, than the other players on the telecast.
She's swinging the ball a little bit further to the right, Denny. She is going out further into the track.
I know you finished 15th this week. Where did you basically play?
Depending upon what lane, usually around the track area, around 10.
Okay, anywhere from 10 to maybe 13 or so. Moderately high-scoring event, as Chris alluded to in the Open. Had a 300 game this week, also with 290. The ladies got lined up. They did strike. Going to have to hang on for just a second. Leila walks back, and I think going through the back of her mind, she might have thrown that a little bit harder. There you get a chance to see Leila Wagner out of Dallas, Texas. 8th year as a pro. 1 title. 17-7 match play record. Not too bad. Average on the television pair, 202.3. Are those sequins, Chris?
They look like sequins, and they're probably all little shiny pieces of material also. She wants to make a big splash this week.
She's done so thus far. Needs a little help. Oh, my goodness, not a good break. The 2-4-5 for just a moment, and ends up with the 4-5, so she's going to have to fit a little bit of a shot here on the left-hand lane.
She would have been better off if that 2-pin had stood there. It's a little bit easier of a spare She's been bowling very well all week, so I expect that she'd give it a good run for her money.
Leila defeated Callie Sampson in match play 202 to 200, but championship final, a horse of a different color, and she splits the 4-5. And the capacity crowd here at Wayne John's Tempe Bowl enjoyed that shot.
She's going to go directly at what would be the 2-pin and put the ball in between the 4 and the 5. She barely kisses that 5-pin, and over it goes.
Just enough. Well, you love to see those 5 pins topple. Great shot. Back to live action. Callie Sampson opened with a strike in the first. Well, pulled that shot just a little bit. Rather an unusual style, Chris.
Yes, Callie has a very slow, deliberate approach. As you watch her push the ball away, she kind of stops right there, then keeps going a little bit slower, and then very quickly through the release point.
It's amazing. She's from Parkersburg, West Virginia, and another player from that area on the PBA tour for many years, Sam Flanagan. Same type of a style. Isn't that amazing?
Yes, they did. They very much alike.
Yeah. That little hitch step and really holding the ball low, keeping it low to the floor, and obviously it works because the Flanger had a few good years on the PBA tour.
Sam was a little bit taller. I thought maybe that was why he did it, but Callie's not quite that tall, but it works for her.
Trying to convert the spare, needs a little help, and she gets it right at the last moment, and she applauds herself, and I think she's probably breathing a little easier after that spare.
She's going to try to put the ball in what we would consider the regular pocket. She's going to be a little bit to the left of the pocket.
Right, this is the first shot.
Leave it. Yes, She's probably pulled that because she was a little nervous, and it was more evident on that shot.
And we're in the third frame now. Opening match. $40,000 Tempe Open. Week number 5 on the LPBT Tour on ESPN. Next week, Las Vegas, Nevada for the doubles.
It's the first time for us.
That's a little better shot and a little better reaction from the 10 pins on lane 17.
After she got that break on 18 and carried the spare, I'm sure it loosened her up a little bit.
It's amazing, Chris, how many times the players take advantage after kind of getting away with one.
You really should put a good shot in there. If somebody gives you a little luck or a little break here and there, you should take advantage of it.
Leila trying to go back to work, fresh from that 4-5 split conversion. Left the solid 4-pin on her opening shot. Championship pair here, 17 and 18. Top prize this week, $8,000. Leila gets inside, breaks down the split, and leaves the 4-7.
She seems like she's a little bit slower than she needs to be. If she would just pick up her speed just a little bit, she might be able to project the ball down the lane longer.
It was amazing. I spoke with her before the telecast, and she said, Denny, going into the position round game this week, the 42nd game, I was only 80 pins out of first, and I had an outside shot at leading this tournament. Very close this week. Huh?
It was a very close match. In fact, Betty Morris moved from 3rd to 1st in the position round.
It's amazing. All the tournaments I've seen, all the position round games I've seen, I don't think I've ever seen anybody hop, skip, and jump from 3rd place to 1st, but it happened this week, and there's something that you don't normally see, an opponent applauding on a spare conversion.
I think Callie just is enjoying herself because this is her first television appearance, and she just is going to be her natural self, which is a really neat lady.
You're exactly right. It's a marvelous experience, first time ever on national television. Leila trails by 4 here in the 4th frame. Good-looking shot there. Runs it out and leaves the half-10. And I think Leila felt like she might have had a strike that time.
It looked like it was a very good shot, but there were an awful lot of these half-10s left here this week, Denny. If you got the ball just slightly to the right, a little too far, maybe a board or so, it didn't come back with quite enough power to carry that 10-pin. The 6 just kind of fell off into the channel a little bit and laid there.
Leila, overall on television, match play record, 7 wins, 12 losses, trying to improve on that here. First shot at the 10, and she hangs on. Nice cross-alley conversion. Callie Sampson leads by 5, and there you see Leila Wagner trying to hang on. We're in the opening stages of match number 1, so stay tuned for more bowling from Tempe, Arizona. Callie Callie Sampson leading by 5, and she is up in the 4th frame, opening match, looking for her first ever win on national television. Match play record this week, 16 wins and 8 losses. Looking for a double right here.
She finally loosened up, I think, enough, Denny, that she's just going to let that ball swing.
Chris, is she pretty much a track player, pretty much up and at 'em?
Yes, she is, Denny. She just lets the lane take the ball in. She lets the ball swing right through into the track area, and she lets the lane do the work, which is basically a good idea.
Well, she's making up for lost time. It's only her 5th professional tournament already. She's made it to the championship round.
She came out in the very beginning of the summer swing.
There you see the key double in the 3rd and 4th. She leads by 15. Like she might have raised up a little bit, but she got away with it.
She also extended the ball out a little further than I think she wanted to, came around the shot just a little bit, but with enough fingers in the ball so that the 5-pin ripped the rack and went over into the 7 and the 4.
Nice pin action. Now Leila Wagner, obviously, you don't have to be a mathematician to realize when somebody steps up and throws a turkey, you got some problems. She trails by 25.
She's still looking for her first strike.
Yeah. Needs to get started in a hurry. This one through the nose, and the 3-9-10, no fun at all.
As you watch Leila go through her shot, she seems to have picked up her speed, but she's also a little higher than she probably wanted to be, so therefore the ball was going to project to the left a little bit more. That's why the ball crossed over, leaving the 3-9-10, which is not one of the easier spares to try to pick up.
No, you really have to fit this one. Of course, she made the 4-5 a little bit earlier.
She's bowling well enough.
Needs a little help here. Ooh, almost a double pinochle bounce off there. Not quite good enough. So Leila has really had some problems on television. She has bowled fairly well this summer, but she's run into some people that have just bowled better.
Last time she shot 252. You
I know.
can't throw a whole lot more pins down than that.
That's right. Paula
Except
Drake.
if you throw 297 or 299.
Yeah. Paula Drake with a 299 game. Leila kind of looked at me and said, geez, what do you have to do to win out here? Finds herself trailing by 39. She's going to have to get to work in a hurry. Gives this one a little more room. Is it going to come back? Not quite. And she is struggling at this point.
She got that one out on the lane also like Callie did, except she got around the ball just a little bit more. And the ball skittered a little longer before it came back.
Let's see what thoughts are going through her mind. Trying to get adjusted. It sure looks a lot easier than it really is down there, right, Chris?
Everybody says that. They say to us all the time, you make it look so very easy. But if they knew all the work that went into it.
Good shot on the spare conversion. And so Leila sits down, but he's got some problems midway through the opening match. Callie Sampson working on a turkey.
I guess Callie decided the best way to get over her jitters and not make too many mistakes is just throw one ball at a time.
Taking a little extra time to dry off the old hand, I imagine. Perspiration flowing on the hand at this point. First ever shot at it.
Between being on TV the first time and in Arizona with our heat. Excellent shot, Denny. Excellent shot.
Well, she's stepping up and taking advantage of the opportunity, and just a super shot on the right-hand lane. Yeah, I was talking to Wayne Zahn, your husband, a little bit earlier, and he said, boy, the humidity here has been unbelievable. I said, no, Wayne, there's no humidity in Phoenix or Tempe. And he said, you want to bet?
This week it's probably up to maybe 30%.
Yeah, that's grueling. You guys are probably sweating to death.
We're used to 8, 9, 10% at the very maximum.
I'm from the Akron area, and we're used to like 95% humidity. Well, right now, the heat is on Leila Wagner because Callie Sampson leads by 49. And there are no signs of letting up at this point. Well, I know one thing. Leila ought to bottle whatever she's giving to her opponents because they seem to come up with their best performances against Leila Wagner from Dallas, Texas. Callie Sampson leads going away here in game number 1. And we're back to Wayne Zahn's Tempe Bowl in Tempe, Arizona. Leila Wagner struggling. Trails by 59. And at this point in time, it's just time to get back inside the barn, shut the door, and come back another day.
Leila's got to wonder what she is bringing out in all these new rookies.
Once again, through the nose. During the break, it looked like she might change equipment, change balls. She opted to kind of hang in there with that one. Hey, she threw some strikes during practice, but once those lights go on sometimes, things have a tendency to change.
Besides that, Denny, she's probably under a little bit more pressure since she hasn't been bowling real well on television.
It's amazing how even some of the greatest players in the world go through streaks where they make the telecast, make the championship round, and then just can't seem to win a game. It's just one struggle after another, and it seems to kind of build on itself. It's almost a mental thing.
After a while, it does get to be psychological. You begin to wonder when it's going to finally let up. Leila's shot went a little bit to the left, obviously, of what we were looking at. The spare, she was lucky to have caught the 10-pin with that 3-pin off the sideboard there.
A little luck.
Away.
A little luck never hurt anybody,
That's
right?
for sure.
Well, she's got to be feeling a little bit down. She's bowled very well this summer. This is her third championship round, but unfortunately, she's been slotted in that number 5 spot. How about a strike? Well, the 6-pin half-heartedly takes a swipe at the 10, but it's not enough.
It doesn't seem to be Leila's night again tonight. She's not getting the really crucial break when she deserves it.
And she's got such a pretty smile, but I don't think we're going to see it here this evening.
No, not tonight.
She's a good sport, though.
She is. She'll just wish for the best for Callie after she's been defeated.
Yep. She'll bounce back and come back next week. She's teaming with Paula Drake, I think, next week in the doubles.
That's right.
Boy, that'll be a formidable team.
That'll be a great team. When Paula decided to play, she jumped on it right away.
Paula Drake surviving the cut to the top 24 this week, but not quite getting to the championship round.
She finished just ahead of me. We bowled position round together last night.
Well, you earned $1,000 for the week's work.
Not a bad deal, and I got to stay home to do it.
That's right. You could make $1,000 every week, couldn't you?
I would certainly love to.
Now, Callie Sampson, en route to making more than $1,000 here this evening, has a 5-bagger up. She's in the 8th frame, and needless to say, in control of the opening match. Well, first big mistake for Callie, and gets a break and leaves over the 6-pin.
She could have been in deeper trouble than that. It looked like it was going to be a wide open split, but she had a little luck, got a break. Now she's looking only at a 6-pin, single-pin spare.
And there you see, drying out the old thumb hole just a little bit. Chris, what do you do in that case when you get a little too much perspiration?
I use either a rosin bag or a towel. Sometimes I wash my hands off.
Do you have a tendency to have that problem?
Yes,
Okay.
I think everybody out here does, especially when you're bowling in the warm Southwest like we are.
Yep. Winner of this match will move on to take on Cass Leal of Houston, Texas. Meanwhile, the loser will cash a check worth $1,800. Not too bad.
No, that'll probably cheer up whoever loses this match.
I have a feeling you might be right. I know one thing, Leila, next week, if she would make the show, would probably pay somebody to finish anywhere but 5th.
I think if she gets to the show, she's going to try real hard to catch number 3 instead of number 4.
Yeah, that's the key. Just qualify higher, right?
That's right.
Then you don't have to worry about it. Callie Sampson in the 9th. And almost a wall shot, but the 5-pin stands by itself.
She broke up that 5-7. She seems to be rolling the ball well enough to break up those splits.
Match is already over, obviously, and there you see the dejected look on Leila Wagner's face, realizing that 5th it is once again this week.
Although I'm sure Leila won't argue about that every week either.
No, heck no. Possible 248 for Callie Simpson if she would strike out.
Not bad for the first time on national television.
What's with these people? I've got the key to television bowling, Chris.
What's that?
Go out there when you make the show and pretend it's the first time you've ever bowled on television, whether it is or not.
That's got to be the answer.
Right? It obviously is. Every time we say it's the first time anybody's ever bowled on national television, they go out and shoot 250.
We could bottle that and sell that to other people.
You're right. Why sell it? We'll keep it.
That's right.
Here we go. We'll take a look at other finishers this week. Vicki Montgomery from my neck of the woods. She's from Ravenna, Ohio, finishing up 6th. Renee Fleming, who won last week, 7th place.
Last week's champion. Becky Cragley, she's from Connecticut. And Lisa Ayers, that's my doubles partner for next week. She's sitting right next to me. Julie Bear, who's from this locality, and so is Mary Farr. Paula Drake. We have Kathy McNaughton. Kathy.
Yeah. Tried Kathy working in the truck this week
That's
for the
right,
first time
yes,
ever. Nice going out there, Kath.
Okay. Sue Kingham, Donna Connors, Karen Barkle.
Oh, wait a minute. What happened to 15th
Well,
place?
that was me. We already talked about me.
I'll pat
19th
you
was
on the
Roz
back.
Saya, Jeannie Berry, Marla Spoor.
As we run down the rest of that top 24, opening match is out of the wood at this point, and we'll be back with match number 2 right after this. Updating you on the final score in match number 1. Callie Sampson defeating Leila Wagner 224 to 177. And now game number 2. Callie Sampson and Cass Leal, a couple of players, Chris on, that have never won.
Here we go again, Denny. 2 players never been on national television before. We should probably expect 250 to 250.
Yeah, don't say that because you know what's going to happen now.
Right, as soon as you
190
say,
to 189.
As soon as you say something like that, you jinx them.
Oh, well. But you're right. We've seen some terrific scores. Callie with a split in the 10th framer. She might have shot in 240 in that opening game. The unusual style of 29-year-old Callie Sampson. But it works.
She's picking up right where she left off.
Chris, what happens to you after you win that opening game? It's a tendency to build your confidence?
It has to make her more relaxed and build her confidence, Denny. She's got to know that she's able to do it a little bit more now than she would have before. It was her first time, and she's proven it to herself.
Cass Leal surviving until the championship round a year ago down in Houston. First shot, and this one misses the pocket. She'll have to come back and spare up on her opening attempt.
I think she was a little tight on that. She didn't swing it quite as freely as she's been known to do.
As I mentioned last year, she finished 4th in the Lady Fairlanes Open in her hometown, which must have been nice.
It's always nice to bowl in front of the hometown crowd. You tend to put a little extra pressure on yourself so you do well, but it's nice to be home.
Best finish so far in 1987, 7th in the opening event at Lake Charles. Very steady performer. I like her game. Basically a very simple game, not room for many errors.
That's right, Danny. The less that you do, the less that can go wrong, and Cass really kept to that.
7 years, member of the LPDT. At this point in time has yet to win a title, but that could change here this evening in Tempe, Arizona. 14-10 match play record. Tournament average just a fraction over 214. The scores were moderately high this week, wouldn't you say, Chris?
Yes, they were, Denny. Anybody that could get that 10 pin out.
Isn't that the way it usually goes?
Definitely. 10s and 4s.
And for the left-handers?
7s and 6s.
There you go. I wanted to see if I could reverse you a little bit there. Second shot for Cass Leal. Much better projection. And she leaves what Chris and I were just talking about a moment ago, a half 10.
First of all, this house is known for its half 10s. All right, as we watch Cass here, we were talking about a very basic style. She pushes the ball out as she steps away, and it swings through. Very controlled, but very, very easy. And then she comes through square at the line, comes with her follow-through straight up, eyes on the target.
That's a good-looking game.
It sure is.
Mm-hmm. We're here in the second game of the $40,000 Tempe Open. Just a little warm outside. It was only 109 degrees today, Chris.
And that's cool for this time of year, Denny.
Come on now.
We're talking usually 115.
Yeah, Johnny Carson said, yeah, there's not much humidity out there, but boy, I'll tell you what, you could still get baked out there.
It's like opening your oven and sticking your head in sometimes when you get into a car or whatever.
Tell you what, I felt like the Pillsbury Doughboy earlier today. 109 out there. Gee, many Christmas. Well, I guess if you're used to it.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Denny. She went a little wide with that one. Came back, and the pin action was really great for her. She got the ball outside of the second arrow, and it will not finish quite as strongly from out there, outside the track a little bit, but it's strong enough to shake those pins up. The 7 is the last to topple, but as long as it goes, who cares?
That's right. Head pin with a little help that time, and Callie is executing what most people would like to do in a championship round, and that's jump out early, throw a couple of strikes, put a little pressure on your opponent.
It is. That way somebody has to play catch up.
Trying for a turkey here to start game number 2, and nearly gets the wall shot, but leaves the stubborn 7.
That one she went around a little bit more with her hand when she released it, so it didn't finish quite so hard.
As we mentioned, only her 5th professional tournament, and she's off to a very fast start. 16-8 match play record. Average on the television pair, 195.5, but she improved that with a match win over Leila Wagner, 224-177 here already this evening.
She holds the ball a little bit lower than most players, Denny.
And she saves the wood on the 7 pin. Just
well, we told
barely
them not to
converted.
hurt our pins this week, so any cleaner she may not have made that. That pin was any cleaner, she wouldn't have made that with all that dirt. It would help to fall over.
Since you're a proprietress, how heavy is the wood here at Wayne Zahn's Tempe Bowl?
These are 3 7s, Denny.
Okay.
These are 3 7s.
Pretty heavy pins. Cass Leal looking for her first strike of the match, and I have a feeling that she's going to get it. She knew as soon as she let it go. She moved a little bit deeper, I think, with her feet that time.
She did, and she was just a little bit more loose with her arm swing. A couple shots, and you get to loosen up. The butterflies kind of fly away and leave you.
With that kind of a game, with Cass's game, in essence, she's going to hit the pocket most of the time.
She is. It's going to be a matter of carry for her. She's not going to pull too many shots, or she will every now and then, but not as many as someone who does a whole lot more to the ball at release point.
Using those finger grips, finger inserts. A little better lift action. She's a little deeper, no doubt about it, and as a result, she leaves the 10 pin. I guess that's the game you play, Chris. The minute you move inside a little bit, there's always a tendency to leave the 10.
Either that, and if you make the one-board adjustment, sometimes you'll come back and leave a solid 4. So sometimes it's you give one up to take the other, whichever you consider the easier spare.
As a whole, do you think that the women professionals have a tendency to make their adjustments with speed or with moving their feet and their angles?
I would say with feet and their angles.
Okay.
It's a lot easier for women to do that. Where men are stronger, they can do that a little bit faster.
Yeah, they might utilize the
Yeah.
speed once in a while, sure. Cross alley spare, so both players at this point settling in, but Callie Sampson is on a roll. She leads by 10, and I have a feeling that she is enjoying herself here this evening in Tempe, Arizona. And up on the approach on the championship pair, lanes 17 and 18 here in Tempe, Arizona, is Callie Sampson, who leads by 10, game number 2. Over Cass Leal. Right back at him.
That was a great shot, Denny. She was certainly not going to leave a 10 pin on that one.
You know, it's, I think, key in most cases pivotal in a match for someone who does not have a lot of championship round experience after a commercial break to be able to step up there and throw a good shot. Boy, she did that time.
She did. She probably just kept her mind on what she wanted to do and didn't get sidetracked by the pause.
Well, regardless of where she finishes here this evening, Callie Sampson will collect her largest LPBT check ever. Finished 12th last week in the Albuquerque Open, and that was her best previous finish.
A little high for that one, Denny. She looked like she pulled that one inside.
A little more
went around,
speed that
yeah.
time, too. But that might have been the adjustment when she realized she was a little bit late.
She would pull it faster if she's pulling it through.
Coming up next in match number 3, whoever wins this one will have to take on the likes of Barbara Light out of Albany, New York. And she's an excellent competitor and fine bowler.
That's a tough person to have to start facing, especially if you're a brand new TV bowler like these two.
Yeah, and guess what? Betty Morris is after that.
So whoever,
it doesn't get any easier.
No, that's for sure. Never does on the show.
Yeah.
Callie.
Happy about that one.
Yeah, I love to see those reactions. When she gets a chance to watch herself on television, I'm sure she's going to enjoy it.
She's going to be surprised because this is the most reaction we've seen out of Callie in the 5 weeks she's been out here. She's a very subdued player. Just never says much. Broke up that 4-5, Denny.
A little wider that time.
A little wider. I don't know if she really did or not, but it looked a little bit like she lost the ball off her hand. Maybe didn't quite give it as many fingers as she wanted to.
Cass's career television average, 218.5, and her match play record, television-wise, 1 win and 1 loss. Overall, she's 19th on the LPBT's money list. Going to move up a little bit after this evening, regardless of what happens. Picks up the 5-pin and moves over to left-hand lane, lane 17.
She was probably really happy to break up that split, so it's an easy spare for her.
Well, she's yet to strike thus far on the left-hand lane.
She's been leaving 10.
Callie Sampson opening up the championship with a 224-177 win over Leila Wagner. And we're in match number 2. 6th frame shot. And finally a little bit help.
She gave that one more room and more fingers that time, so she wasn't going to leave that weak 10. As you watch her go through her shot, she'll go slightly to the right and really turn that ball. As it comes back around, it'll catch the head pin lightly and send everything splashing over there to the left-hand side, and what we call a wall shot.
And this one through the nose on the right-hand lane for Callie Sampson in frame number 6. Contemplating that last shot. Was it a mistake? What did I do wrong? It's amazing. Constantly the players have to assess. Did they throw a good shot? Did they throw a bad shot? Was it the lane?
Whether or not they hit the target that they were looking at, or did they turn the ball early? That was probably one of the things she did.
You try and make it such a simple game, and yet it is very complex. I'm impressed with the way she's been able to handle the spares, though.
She just goes right after them. She doesn't try to hook the ball a whole lot, so she won't get into an awful lot of trouble.
Callie averaged 195.5 on the championship pair throughout the event this week. You see graphically, +8. As long as you're in that plus column, you're in good shape.
It only has to be by 1.
Mm-hmm. Callie kind of sneaking up on the foul line. Gives it plenty of room, and she topples the 7-pin. You have to love somebody that strikes and then gets a chance to applaud themselves on the way back to the bench. But that's just simple emotion, and there you can see, written all over her face. I'm still nervous, but guess what? I'm ahead. Back to action. Is that burnt orange there, Chris, or is that just a normal orange?
I think that's bright orange, Denny.
Oh, all right.
Bright orange.
I love those colors. And we're in the 7th frame, game number 2, and Casleal trails by 8, but could change the complexion of the match. She's on a strike in the 6th. Dearly needs a double here, gives it some room, likes the shot. 6-pin kind of falls flat on its face and just doesn't get the job done.
It almost had a chance there, Denny. It could have toppled that 10-pin, but it just didn't fall quite the right way.
Oh, these two young ladies are pretty serious about this.
Well, they're bowling for a lot of money.
The winner advances and wins at least $2,500. The loser will cash for $2,000 this week.
One of their bigger paychecks ever.
Mm-hmm. $8,000 to the winner, $4,000 for second this week. And the first errant shot of the match, and Casleal guilty of missing the 10, and basically at this point in time gives Callie a few more pins, and now she leads by 19.
Cass needs to come back with a strike.
Possible 217 if Cass would strike out from the 8th, but she's had only 2 strikes the entire match. So you can see the shoulders slump a little bit. Big, deep breath of fresh air, and trying to set herself up here and make a good shot on the left-hand lane. This is the shot of the match if she wants to stay involved. Just a little bit too much room. Got a little quick with it, and there you see.
That's our unfriendly washout. She got it over to the right too far. If you'll remember last frame, she swung the ball on that lane and had a wall shot, so I think she was probably trying to do the same thing on that shot. She got a little too far out into the oil, and when it did come back, didn't leave her much to shoot at.
Well, really, a couple of half tens, and this could have been a much different match for Cass Leal. She's hit the pocket. Gives the washout a run and just doesn't quite get far enough to the left of the head pin. And Callie Sampson really in an excellent position right now. She's working on a strike in the 7th and could really take command of match number 2. She leads by 31. That's a nice position to be in, right?
Yes, and a double here would certainly make it even better.
Mm-hmm. Double here, and it's almost good night so long, and I'll see you in the semifinal game.
Mm-hmm. Same shot as last time on that frame.
Mm-hmm. 3-6-10.
Mm-hmm. She seemed to hang up in that ball just a little bit longer. Pull it over to the left.
There you see Cass eyeing the telescore, just trying to figure out, geez, do I still have a chance? Do I have an outside opportunity?
Cass knows she just needs to get up there and throw lots of strikes.
Winner of this game moves on to take on Barbara Light of Albany, New York. Summer tour winding down on ESPN. Had some exciting action. 299 game a couple of weeks ago, 297. Betty Moore shot 280 in Lake Charles, and he's seen some strikes out of the ladies.
Here's Callie going through that spare shot. Looks almost exactly like she did last frame when she left it on that right lane. She needs to cover all 3 pins with the ball. It's the best way to do it.
Her ball goes into a very late roll, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Takes it a while to get rolling, but once it does, gets the job done.
She goes more straight at them for that reason.
It's amazing. There are so many different ways to throw strikes in the sport of bowling. You see the scoreboard, 31-pin lead, and we're coming down to the end of match number 2. That one's a little bit wide, and the 1-2-4, so 2 shots in a row, a bit errant.
She's probably relaxing a little too much at this point.
You're right.
She might think she's got the match totally in hand, and you never, ever want to think that.
Well, if she spares here, all she needs is decent count, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Best Cass Leal could shoot would be 195 if she would strike out in the 9th and the 10th. Opened up with a 224-177 win over Leila Wagner, and now she's trying to win her 2nd straight match. And a chop of that 1-2-4, and all of a sudden, Cass Leal has an outside chance. And how many times that happens in this sport? It's amazing.
You
Really?
think you've got it all wrapped up, and
sure.
if you let up just a little bit.
Now let's see what kind of a shot that Cass can muster here.
Excellent shot, Denny. The best place shot at the best place time.
It's amazing, again, what happens when you're kind of pushed to the maximum, when you know that if you don't strike here, you're done for the evening. And so many times the professionals come up with key shots.
Not only that, but she's been given a second chance, and she knows it.
Second lease on life.
Mm-hmm.
195, the possibility there for Cass Leal, which would force Callie Sampson to at least double.
To at least get 2 strikes. Mm-hmm.
Boy, that'd be an interesting situation. Cass with plenty of concentration. Now all she needs is a strike. Good solid follow through. Needs a little help and doesn't quite get it there. The 2-4-5.
That lane doesn't seem to be coming up for everybody like they'd like it to come up.
Well, 175, the best that she could possibly do, which would mean that Callie would need only 4 pins to win, and I have a feeling she could probably handle that.
In 2 shots, I think she'd be able to get 2, Denny.
I know what you were going to say, that Denny, even you could probably get 4 pins in 2 shots.
No, I know you're a fairly good bowler. I wouldn't say that.
Fairly good?
Well,
You're
that's what
being
I've
too
heard.
kind.
Fairly good.
Oh, no, don't chop that 2-4 off the 5. Well, disappointing evening for Cass Leal. She bowled so well all week long, but, well, maybe next week in the doubles, perhaps. She has won game number 2 in a row here, Callie Sampson. She'll finish out the 10th frame, and at this point in time, she'll get a chance to maybe practice a little bit and get ready, because coming up next, she had better be ready. She'll have to face off with Barbara Light. Well, Kelly doesn't look particularly happy there, Chris Son, but
I don't know why.
She should be. She won 191 to 163 over Cass Leal, so Cass finishes up 4th. Callie Sampson continues to climb the ladder, and well, let's see if Barbara Light can pull the rung out from underneath her. Barbara Light, excellent bowler.
She's been bowling so well these last couple of weeks, Denny. You can expect almost anything out of Barbara.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, she started with the first 11 and then made a bit of a errant shot for her and shot 297. This week, you saw what happened. Very quickly out of the gate and almost a swishing 710. And boy, what a contrast of styles here. Barbara Light, very strong, projects the ball with a lot more velocity than Callie does.
Certainly, she's a much bigger person to begin with, and she's so much stronger.
And that graphic speaks for itself. 5th appearance in the championship round 4 times this summer. She also made the championship round in the Seagram Schooler U.S. Open in Mentor, Ohio earlier this year.
She was able to get some time off from school.
And she's just bowling with so much confidence, and that's what happens when you continually make the championship round.
Your swing gets real nice and loose. You keep making this many finals, this many television appearances. Plus, she's a naturally loose and easygoing person to begin with.
Told me she was disappointed she didn't lead this event. She was in first place for quite a while. Ended up bowling out of the number 2 position in the position round game, and just couldn't quite get it done. Betty Morris went around her and Cass Leal and ended up as the top seed. Opening shot here in game number 3 from Callie Sampson out of Parkersburg, West Virginia. This one a little high through the nose, and she leaves the baby split in the opening frame.
This is her family, Danny. This is her husband, Max, and her son, Billy, and her sister, Tricia. And then sitting over there on the side is her daughter, Betsy.
And I talked to Billy a little while ago as he sneers at the camera. Wait till Mom sees him making faces. He's going to be in trouble then. But he told me, guess what, Danny? I'm going to the Grand Canyon tomorrow.
Oh, they're going to make a little side trip after our tournament here.
He said, Mom doesn't want to take me to Las Vegas, but she said I could go to the Grand Canyon. I said, hey, the Grand Canyon's just as nice.
It's one of the wonders of the world, so I'm sure.
And plus, you come back with your shirt.
Denny, this spare shot is very similar to the 3-pin spares that she had before on this lane, so she's going to make it almost exactly the same way. If that 6-pin had been there, it would be exactly the same as she did before.
Cass Leal finishing up in 4th position. Leila Wagner, number 5, and there you see the young lady that defeated both of them. Callie Sampson represented herself fairly well here. First appearance ever on national television.
She has everything to be proud about.
Right back at him in the 2nd frame.
She came through that ball just a little bit stronger, able to carry all of them, 10 pins in the pit.
Barbara Light averaging 201 on the championship pair this week. Barb trying to concentrate through a bit of crowd disturbance, but if anybody out there can do it, she's the one. Lots of speed. This one's going to be a little bit high, and she breaks up the split and was happy to do so.
She sure was. She seemed to have pulled that ball just a little bit to the inside. Maybe it hung up on her hand a little longer than she wanted to, but it left her an easy makeable spare.
Earlier this summer, she captured her first professional title, winning the Metroplex Open in DeSoto, Texas. with a 297-159 victory over Betty Morris. Well, you don't get too much more lopsided than that. Betty may be looking for revenge a little later on this evening, though. I'm sure Betty will have something to say about that.
And don't forget, she started out with a 277 her first match that night against Tish Johnson.
Oh,
So
brother.
she really threw strikes that night.
Oh, she did. She averaged better than 280. There you see 11 years, one title, and I think she's still thinking about the Metroplex Open. 17-7 in match play. 212.3 overall this week. Also this summer, she's finished 4th in the Lady Fairlanes Open, I should say, in Houston, and also 5th last week in the Albuquerque Open. It's been a good summer.
She's had some great paychecks.
Going to have to find a tax consultant here if she keeps this up. Half 10. Felt like she threw a pretty good shot there. You can instantly realize when the players feel like they've thrown a good shot because they just take off.
They start to run them out. They get emotional if they're that type of a player, and they let the crowd know exactly what they're feeling inside. It was a terrific shot. Kind of wonder how she left that 10-pin.
Barbara Light, certainly one of the finest women professional bowlers in the country, but boy, she's had a terrific record on the East Coast coming out of Albany, New York.
There's a tournament group by the name of WASA out east, and she has an awful lot of titles with them.
She loves to compete and loves to bowl. No question about that. She's got a handful here this evening, though, with Callie Sampson. Callie was very nervous before the championship round, but I have a feeling at this point that the nerves are long gone by the wayside.
No, the nerves are gone, and the determination is really set in.
Just a question of taking it one shot at a time and getting the job done.
She seems cool and collected. Too high on that one, Denny.
And just
Didn't
when we
break
say
that
that, up pops the split. She led by 3 before that shot, but you get a good chance to see our vantage point here at Wayne Zahn's Tempe Bowl. Had a nice chat with your husband earlier today. He's looking fit as a fiddle.
Keeps himself in great shape.
Don't you ever feed him at home, Chris?
We're never home, Denny. What can I tell you?
That's right. You can't cook. You're on the road bowling.
That's true, but I can cook. Come on. I know how. Let's put it that
I
way.
didn't mean to infer that you couldn't. I'm just saying that you don't normally. It's probably better that way for him. He doesn't have to gain all that weight.
Now he looks great like
yeah,
he
he
is.
does. He's bowling a little bit, isn't he?
Every now and then, whenever the PBA Tour comes out to the West.
PBA and ABC Hall of Famer. Tremendous professional career, winner of the Firestone Tournament of Champions. I don't know, what didn't he win in his career?
I think the U.S. Open is the only thing he hasn't won. He won the PBA Nationals twice.
Sure. You know, anybody that's watched professional bowling over the years certainly knows the name Wayne Zahn. And that 10-pin stands again. Boy, you're going to go to bed tonight and dream about those things. Huh?
I don't know if they're going to be dreams. I think they're going to be nightmares, Denny.
No, they're nightmares if you miss them.
That's right. Okay. Or if you needed it for a win and you left that 10. The lanes could be tightening up just a little bit. They probably need to make an adjustment.
Now the oil starts to carry down the more balls that are thrown throughout the television round, and in essence what happens is the oil moves from maybe 25 and 30 feet down the lane all the way down near the head pin, and when that happens, the ball just doesn't react quite the same. Callie with a cross-alley spare. Barbara Light leads by 9. There you see the capacity crowd. It's sold out here this evening in Tempe, Arizona, as Barbara Light prepares for frame number 4. And while we were away, we're just a fraction behind schedule. Big turkey by Barbara Light in the 4th, 5th, and 6th, but a solid 10, and then a miss. It's kind of brought Callie Sampson back into the match. She trails by 17 at this point, but certainly not out of the wood in the semifinal game here from Tempe, Arizona. Callie shot her first 300 game ever earlier this summer in the Houston tournament. And right back in the pocket. So never say die for Callie Sampson. She's hanging on for dear life right now in the semifinal game.
Well, she got what she needed. Definitely a strike.
Barb Light just has drilled the pocket every shot with the exception of the second frame when she threw it a little bit high. Winner of this one heads on into the title match against Betty Morris. Betty trying to win her third LPBT title of the summer. Oh, what a great ground level shot there. Through the nose, breakup city, though, and Barb turns around with a smile on her face.
She's glad she broke that one up. She would have given part of that advantage back to Callie had she not broken it up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's watch it, Denny. She goes around the ball a little bit, and it's going to come up high into the pocket. Actually splices it right in the middle. Could have been a 6, 7, 10. Watch her as she sees those pins fall over. Relief.
Barb was backing up the whole way thinking, oh, no, don't tell me I did that. It's a little unnerving, though, when you miss a spare. She just threw 4 great shots in a row, left a solid 10, and stepped up there and missed it. And she doesn't make errors like that.
No, she certainly doesn't, Denny. The 10 pin has been a little elusive for some people this week because it sometimes hooks a little bit more than they might be accustomed to.
A little disconcerting sometimes when you're shooting the 10 pin. One time you set a little short and it hooks early and you miss it to the left, then you make the over adjustment and throw it in the channel.
Well, her very first frame on that lane, she almost missed it also when she first started out.
Possible 224 for Barbara Light. She's in the 9th frame here, semi-final game. Needs to get back into the pocket. Oh, a good shot there. Solid shot. We're going to take a break right at this point in the semifinal game. Stay tuned. Very, very good semifinal. Biggest shot of the match for Callie Sampson in the 9th. This would be for a double.
Not soon enough. We all sat here waiting to see whether or not the messenger pin could take the 10 out. She really needed that strike, Denny.
And there's the Sampson family looking on intently, and I think Mom has done pretty well here this evening.
Considering all the bowling she's been through the last couple of weeks and her first television appearance, she should be very proud of herself.
Now you see Barb Light toweling off a little perspiration. It's just a touch warm here inside, but rightfully so. Over 109 degrees here this afternoon.
And under all these TV lights.
Oh, yeah. And the pressure. And obviously, there you see the Sampson family. It's been a fun summer for them.
They've gotten to see an awful lot of the country.
Oh, it's terrific as a kid. You got to love this.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the grown-ups have fun. The kids got to have a great time.
They don't have to keep their rooms clean.
That's right. You move to a different one every day.
For sure.
I even kind of like that.
Yeah. Let somebody else come in and make the bed.
Oh, come on. I do my own. Possible 197 for Callie if she strikes out. Barb Light bowling at a 224 clip at this stage. Got a strike here, though, or it could be a very short evening. Callie checks the scoreboard now, 183, the best possible score, and that puts Barb Light in pretty good position. Looks like Barb Light, perhaps, and Betty Morris in a rematch of that Metroplex Open Championship game.
Wonder what it'll be like this time.
Well,
Callie's going to double her earnings in one evening with this third place finish.
Oh, well, a disappointing end to a memorable evening for 29-year-old Callie Sampson, who I have a feeling will remember tonight's action for many, many years to come.
I think she will, and I think she's made a noise that everybody's willing to listen to now. She'll be back for more.
Barb Light at this point with some practice shots, basically. She's already won the match. Doesn't even have to stay behind the foul line, as they say.
No.
Callie Sampson finishing with a 171. Barbara through the nose again and shakes her head. No, 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 that's not exactly what I want. But Barbara Light will advance into the title game.
She wants to make sure she keeps swinging the ball the proper timing because she doesn't want to get out of time.
We're winding down the semifinal game here from Wayne Zahn's Tempe Bowl. The Zahn family has been involved in the sport of bowling for many, many, many years. And there you see Wayne presenting a check to Suzanne Miller out of Laveen, Arizona. Won $400 for capturing the Pro-Am event with a big smile on her face, and rightfully so. Coming up next, Betty Morris and Barbara Light. Barb Light with a pivotal turkey in the 4th, 5th, and 6th, propelling her to a 204-172 victory over Callie Sampson. Now on to the title match, a rematch of sorts between Barbara Light and Betty Morris. Betty will start the championship game on the left-hand lane.
Denny, I think Betty's looking for revenge this time. Last time she was trying to bowl from the #1 seed. Barb threw 297 at her.
Situation, too, where Betty Morris was looking for her 3rd consecutive win, and so much pressure on her. I have a feeling she'll probably bowl quite a bit better here this evening. Opening shot set it a little short, but I think she did. Strikes on the left-hand lane. She gives herself a little
I think she saw all the 10 pins over there on that left-hand lane, and she's just glad to get rid of that first one.
Barb Light getting ready to open up the championship round. Betty, you can see tenseness leaving just a little bit there. A big smile on her face. Two great competitors and two tremendous bowlers. Barb Light will come right back at her, I'll guarantee you that. She throws an excellent shot in the opening frame.
Barbara's going to try to prove that she can do it again.
Really, these are the two dominant players of the summer tour, Chris.
I'd say so, Denny, yeah. Both of them have been bowling extremely well. Their game's real loose. They've made, Barb's missed just one television appearance all these last 5 weeks. It was the first week, and she's made every one since.
Wants to try and apply a little pressure if she can with a double here to start the match. The winner takes home $8,000, the loser $4,000.
She got that one out a little further than I think she wanted to, Denny.
Also looked like she flipped it a little bit too.
Yeah,
don't you think?
went around a little quick.
Mm-hmm.
They go hand in hand.
You can see Barbara shaking her head a little bit. Players realize when they've thrown a shot that isn't exactly what they want.
Oh, usually you know it just as you're letting the ball go.
Yeah, too late then, right?
For sure. Unless you're really great at doing line adjustments.
Like Dick Weber.
For sure.
Yeah. All those years, everybody thought he had that perfect swing. You ask him, and he'll say, boy, about half the time I'm making an adjustment at the last second. Barb Light with lots of speed and nails the conversion.
She wants that speed because she didn't want to see that ball hook away and leave that 5-pin standing there.
Both of these players really, I think, part of their strengths, being able to project the ball and keep it on line sometimes when maybe some of the other ladies can't because they just can't quite muster the speed.
Yes, Barbara can do that because of her speed and her swing, and Betty does it with the great arm swing that she has and the great knee bend that she has.
Really opens up that shoulder and lets it go. Tell you what I love most about Betty Morris's game is the follow-through, the way she comes up straight through the ball.
If you'll watch it right here, Denny, you'll see how she takes that 5-step delivery, pushes the ball out, lets it pendulum swing, the arms open, the shoulders open, comes through and follows through right there at the line.
Boy, just shake hands with that head pin. 18 years of professional, 16 titles, ranks her second all-time. 19-5, best match play record of our television finalists, and the average on the television pair, I should say, also tops at 224.
I think she likes this pair.
Mm-hmm. Familiar bobbing to get ready, get started, get into your swing.
I think she was a little surprised about that. I think she might have dropped it, but she ripped that rack very happily, too.
I think Betty's wondering, geez, what did I have for breakfast this morning? Whatever it was, I'm going to try it again tomorrow. That was a powerful strike.
She seems to be really relaxed and real loose. A lot more so than last time.
Oh, no question. But I think, again, we mentioned, boy, when you're going to try and win 3 in a row, the pressure's immense.
Mm-hmm.
She's just kind of freewheeling it tonight. Boy, she's dangerous when she's able to do something like that. Barb Light needs to bounce back with a double, and all she gets is a double pinochle.
This is not going to help Barbara's chances whatsoever.
So the first mistake made by Barbara Light, and this one could cost her dearly.
Denny, if she wants to try to make this spare, she's either going to slide the 4-pin over into the 6-pin and the 10-pin, and I think she's probably going to just go for count, which is what she did.
Okay. Ever made the double pinochle?
No, I didn't, but I have the dubious honor of having made the 4, 6, 10 twice in the same tournament within 8 games in Houston this year. Nobody can believe I did it, especially me.
How in the world did that happen?
Well, the first one was by accident. I just was really angry and threw the ball a little too hard, and it made the spare. The second one I shot out because I already shot out another spare over on that side, and it worked. No one was more surprised than I was.
Barbara Light trying to get back on track, gives a little room, and she gets the wall shot. So she stays alive here in the championship game. And she trails by 36 because Betty Morris, and there you see her, is perfect through 3 frames. Betty Morris, championship game, frame number 4, and Betty has started with the first 3 strikes.
Blowout 7, Denny. Everybody would have wanted that thing to carry, especially Betty.
Yeah, look at her. She's saying, yeah, that should have been a strike.
She thought so, and I think the entire crowd did, too.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was in the championship game at Lake Charles, 280. Victory over Tish Johnson. And you see part of the capacity crowd here at Wayne Zahn's Tempe Bowl. And that better hang on. Betty with a bit of a quick prayer
She
for
was
the
happy
7th
she
pin.
got that one,
Yeah.
for sure.
Boy, look at the perspiration, both of them.
It's warm out here.
They won it badly, too. You
Yeah.
know, it's tough. This is what it's all about, though, getting down to the final 2, the final game for the title.
It just shows you how hard everybody works out here.
Betty with a phenomenal summer already earlier this year, named the Bowling Writers Association of America's Bowler of the Month for July, the first woman ever to win that honor, and rightfully so. Heck, she finished first twice and second once.
And a third.
Yep.
Got
Well,
one.
we take the third. The third's not good enough.
We just throw that one out,
that's,
right?
That was no big deal.
Okay, here she comes, swinging the ball right through to her target. Turns that ball very nicely. The ball rolls, hooks, hits, 10 pins in the pit.
And strikes.
Look at that. She knew she had that, and she wanted it too.
Barb Light looking for the key double. She's had trouble on this lane. Oh, good shot, but the solid 4.
Great shot. That could have carried.
Mm-hmm.
She gave a little bit more speed and stayed under the ball a little bit more to project it down the lane longer.
Barb trailing by 35, heading into the 5th frame. And that's no fun in a title match.
Not against Betty Morris.
Mm-hmm. Could be because you don't expect Betty to fold up the 10th.
That's correct.
Just isn't going to happen. She's hitting the pocket shot after shot, so you have to go out and strike. That's basically your only chance. Barbara Light's made only one mistake in the title match. It happened in the 3rd, double pinochle. A teacher by trade, and she also instructs bowling, golf, all sorts of, really a sports enthusiast,
Oh,
as Barbara Light.
definite all-round athlete. She plays them all well, too.
Yep, I have a feeling she'd take us both out there on the golf course and just teach us a lesson.
I have played golf with Barbara, and yes, she does play well, and she can teach anybody.
And you bought the Cokes at the end of the
You
round,
bet.
didn't you?
Actually, we were playing on a team, so we were all playing together.
Ah, come on, 10-pin.
No luck.
Barb was pleading her case, but lane 17 just fell on deaf ears.
It's going to stand there and wiggle. It'll probably still be wiggling when it comes back down.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
No.
These pins here at Wayne Zahn's Tempe Bowl have flat bottoms.
And nails. And nails. They're all
They do?
the 10 pins are nailed down. That's what they told me after the first round.
Jiminy Christmas.
She was extra careful on that one, Denny. She didn't want to miss that one like she did the one in the previous match.
Who won the last time the LPBT was in Tempe?
Cindy Coburn.
Ah, okay. Just testing your memory a little bit. That didn't take too long.
No.
Of course, she had that written down, folks.
Right here on my cuff.
It's tough with short sleeves on, too.
I know.
Betty Morris back to work. She leads by 36. Boy, she needs more than that. She's hungry here tonight. Oh, that was set a little short, and Betty will thank her lucky stars for breaking up the split.
She has a makeable spare she's real happy with, I'm sure, at this point. She wasn't happy with the shot.
First bad shot she's had.
Definitely. The one single pin spare she had before was a beautiful shot. Just didn't carry.
Betty Morris, at this point in time, is #1 in average on the LPBT Tour. In earnings, she is #2, and there you get a look at that, 26,075, and she's trying to add another 8,000 to that here this evening. Already this year, she's captured the Lake Charles Classic, the Lady Fairlanes Open, finished second, as we mentioned, in the Metroplex Open in DeSoto, third last week in Albuquerque, and either first or second here this evening, and I have a feeling maybe that top spot.
From the looks of it, Denny, I think that will be Betty.
Well, there you see 36 pins, but still
Half a game to go.
plenty of bowling left, sure.
Mm-hmm. Lots of wood.
Boy, where was
Lots
the
of-
whistle for the cave-in? Gee, many Christmas.
Lots of pin action.
Look at Betty. That was about 8 pins in count, too.
The ball went very, very wide, and when it made its turn, it didn't have much time to get back. We're looking at a bucket and a handle, and all of a sudden, everything's toppling, and 5 pins left.
5, 4, 3, 2.
And just one single
One.
pin spare.
That's right.
Much easier spare to make than
She is a real calculator, isn't she, Chris? Everything basically is according to the master plan when she bowls.
Oh, definitely. Betty has everything under control. She knows exactly what she wants to do, how she's going to do it. She didn't get this far by not having everything under control.
16 career wins. And praying for number 17. A little more loft. And that same stingy 4-pin.
She's probably thinking, what do I have to do to carry that 4?
Barb with a career television average of 205.3. In 1987, she's averaged 218. Her match play record at 4-6. And so far in 87, she's 3-3. Doesn't want to dip under the 500 level, but...
No, but it looks like she's going to have to do that tonight.
Only time will tell. Well, when school starts in September, Barbara Lakes might be ready to go back to school.
She's got a whole week off after the tour's over, she was telling me. So she
She
thinks
still
she's
has
gonna,
some time.
She has 1 week. She doesn't have to go back to school till after Labor Day.
Oh, beautiful. Well, then she'll bowl next week in the doubles.
For sure, yes.
First time the LPBT has
Yes,
staged
it
the
is.
doubles match.
This is going to be a treat for us. We've never done it before. I think everybody's looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
Down by 36. And running out of time. She looks like she's been fighting the lanes a little bit, Chris. If she sets it a little short, it goes through the nose, and if she hits it a little hard and sends it right, it doesn't quite get back.
I think that's been the case for a lot of people this week, but especially for Barbara. On this pair, she seems to have better luck with that wall shot rather than being solid in the pocket, because the ball just jumps that little bit on the back end, which creates the wall shot. solid. She was there.
Big shot in the 8th. Betty Morris, possible 248. Trying to put the finishing touches on her 3rd win this year. Barbara Light with a 212 maximum score. Betty leading, I should say, by 36. No lead is safe, though. Not until the final gun, right?
Not with players of this talent.
Mm-hmm.
A little wide on that one, Denny. Didn't quite get back in time. Lucky that she broke up the 5-7 split.
Well, she may be in a position where if she makes this spare, she can almost win the game sitting on the bench, depending on what Barbara Light does.
With a mark is what she would probably need.
Mm-hmm. You see Barbara, obviously she's well aware of what she needs to do here in the 9th and the 10th. Strike.
On all 4 shots.
Yeah. Can't leave any of them home now. Well, Betty really has bowled a very solid game, though, in defense of Barbara Light. It's tough when you bowl somebody like Betty Morris, opens up with a turkey and gets out ahead of you in a hurry.
She rarely misses that pocket, so you make sure you make good shots all the time against her.
She doesn't miss many spares. Very solid bowler, Betty Morris, through the years, and may be having one of the best years of her career here in '87. Boy, it'd be interesting to see what happens this fall. If she can keep it up. It's do or die now, Barbara Light. Oh, good shot in the 10-pin stands, and
just what
going to make things a little more comfortable for Betty Morris.
Just what you were saying before, Denny. She goes out a little bit longer, and she leaves a 10. She puts it a little sooner. She leaves a 4. So she's almost in between. She's got no good shot to she's got a good shot to the pocket, but not for any carry.
Well, she struck on the right-hand lane in the first frame, and then double pinochled. And since that time, left a couple of 4 pins. So that was a very, very good shot for her in the 9th to try and set up the 10th frame. Just didn't quite get it done. 192 now, maximum score for Barbara Light. And Betty at this point needs just 2 pins to win if Barbara strikes out. So I kind of like her chances. How about you?
I think she likes her chances also. Can't get much better than that.
Nope. One key shot in the 3rd, and really got things started for Betty Morris. Barbara Light swishes, and of course it never fails. When you don't really need it, it always happens, right?
She might have loosened up just enough to make it carry that time.
See, the whole key to bowling now, Chris, is when the next tournament you try this, all right?
Okay, let me hear.
Step up there and throw it as if it doesn't mean anything at all.
I think that's probably the idea, just to relax and have a good time at it.
Don't do that, because I want you to bowl well next
Thank you. If I'm bowling well, I'm having a good time.
There you go. Barbara Light trying to finish things out. Not going to end up where she wanted to, but another big shot, and this one doesn't quite get it done, and Betty Morris basically is going to win it going away. And there you see the tears of joy, the tears of victory, the 3rd time this summer. Betty Morris comes up a winner on the LPBT Tour.
And welcome back to Tempe, Arizona. And for the 3rd time this summer, Betty Morris stands in the winner's circle and now presenting a beautiful trophy and a check from one Hall of Famer to another. Wayne Zahn.
Thank you, Dan. Congratulations, Betty. Here's a trophy for you. I also have a check for you. Great job all week.
Thank you. Oh, I would just like to thank everyone here. Chris and Wayne have been extra special all week. I remember 4 years ago when I couldn't walk and they literally drugged me to the doctor, and I finished 7th in the tournament that year. And the hospitality here has always been just as warm as the weather, and we just love it here. And thank you very much. Thanks, Chris.
Well, let's give her the flowers as well here, Chris.
Here we go before we wilt. Congratulations, Betty.
Just a tremendous evening for Betty Morris as she wins her third time this summer in Tempe, Arizona. Another championship for the great Betty Morris. So long, everybody. And next week on ESPN, the LPBT National Doubles coming from Sam's Town Bowling Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. The LPBT on ESPN is brought to you by True Value Hardware. More than just a name, it's their way of doing business.